We had some perm updates we also wanted to reiterate over. And also very exciting, we finally got Celestia into a public good funding program. Also going to talk a bit about that. And we will do a full KSYNC showcase at the end of this call because we got with the consensus merge and protocol merge, we got some new validators also in this group. So in case someone is not familiar yet or missed the latest features, they can stay until the end, or they can just skip it if they feel they already know much about it. So going through the upgrade first. The latest upgrade was the 2.1 upgrade, and it went live on Tuesday. There were no issues. In case you were wondering why the endpoints were down for like half an hour during the upgrade, it was because our nodes have to take a backup, which sometimes takes a bit longer. But other than that, everything went very well. And this upgrade included the latest Hyperlink module release V1. And this includes like a very important component which is needed so we can finally start bridging over to other EVM chains like Base or like other chains in the future. I know I've said it already a long time, but finally we're getting very close there. And this was the last release which was necessary for that. Furthermore, we removed some deprecated modules like the delegation module, which is now obsolete with the staking, with the consensus and protocol merge. And we did some dependency updates for security and also from the latest Cosmos SDK modules and all that stuff. So yeah, it was a smaller, definitely a way smaller upgrade than the V2 upgrade the last time, but still quite important. Then we did some mainnet Perm updates in case you've missed that. So the most important change from that was that we decreased the voting time for the governance from 7 days to 3 days. This is because this just makes development and release cycle just way more faster, because 7 days is actually quite long. And with the V2 software upgrade, we actually had it for the first time that it actually was very close because of the 3 days. We just hope that it was due to the weekend, but if this is problematic in the future, so if the 3 days are too short, we will have to probably increase it, but for now we will try to go with that. So just for you to know, if you see a proposal, yeah, maybe you have to check it a bit faster than before, but other than that, nothing important. In the V2 upgrade, we increased the gas prices for normal transactions, so that includes protocol transactions and all that stuff. But we also decreased the gas price for IBC transactions too, since we think that's quite important that they are still quite cheap and that they shouldn't cost more than before. We only wanted to touch like normal delegation transactions or normal transfer transactions, which you don't do that often. And last but not least, we updated the coin prices and the storage costs, so they should be all quite, should be all up to date. And with that, all mainnet Perm updates are complete. And going to the Celestia public good funding now. So you all know we have for quite some time the public good funding program in place, where we run a validator on other networks, and we will use that validator commission rewards to fund the pools where the validator is running on. And we finally got, thanks to Paul, he's also here, we finally got into the Celestia delegation program. And with those rewards we earn there, we are currently funding the Celestia and Celestia state sync pool. So in the screenshot below, you can already see that the KYVE public good funding funder is actually funding KYVE and Celestia tier tokens. So in case you are a validator or like a delegator who validates in certain validators, you can check out your rewards. You should see some tier tokens there. And also quite important, to like earn these multi-coin rewards, you have to actually enable them. If you didn't do that, you will get actually a warning, but you can do that like on your global settings. So like when you're logged in, on the top right corner there you have like a settings icon. You can just click there and then enable them there. Or also when you try to delegate, If you have them not enabled, it will also give you a warning, so you can enable them just there. And this is all regarding that. And of course, if you have already questions doing those slides, you can just paste them into the chat. You can hopefully answer them there. And then we have a full KSYNC showcase here at the end. We decided to again show what KSYNC is capable of because already said in the beginning, we got some new validators in the validators channel, and also since the V2 upgrade in general. And also there have been some, I think, very nice updates. So in case you have missed them, you can also stay here. If you feel already you know everything about it or use it regularly already, you can also leave the call from now on. It will be just about that now. But yeah, happy if you stay, and then we can dive in right now if you're ready. So for those of you who don't know what KSYNC is, it's a tool with which you can sync all the block and snapshot data we have archived in our KYVE data lake into your Cosmos validator nodes in. So if you check out our page, can open it right here. We have quite some pools here, and also on our testnet KYVE we have also many more pools, and all those pools are archiving block data and snapshot data onto Arweave, a permanent storage solution, and of course that data wants to be used at some point. So one use case is, for which KSYNC is for, to pull that block data down again and apply them into your node. This gives you a great benefit that you don't need to like gossip around and need to search for like peers which have the blocks. You can just download them directly, and the best thing about it is that it was already verified by multiple validators before. So if you, for example, check out just the first pool here on mainnet, we have multiple validators here who all ran like their own, in this case Cosmos subnode, and they all voted and checked against it, so we can be quite sure that all the block data is correct. And how this looks in action is that you can check out the terminal. You can install it with this simple command here. I will send you the docs at the end so you can all follow it. And yeah, I don't need to install that because I already done that. So once you have installed that, you can just print the version to confirm, and then you're ready to go. So you only need at least Go22 in order for that, and then everything else is already configured. So let's say, because we're KYVE, you want to sync a KYVE node. If you would be, or if you want to be a validator, you first have to, of course, download all the correct binaries. You have to download the Genesis file and then configure it, all that stuff. With KSYNC, it's now a bit easier. So once you have installed that, you can execute the setup command. And then it will be like an installation wizard just for Cosmos validator nodes. In this case, I want to search for KYVE because that's the chain I want to install all the binaries for. Then I can hit enter, and it will load the information for that. So in this case, we can do a state sync to the latest height, which is very interesting for validators because they mostly just want to join the latest height and sync from there. You can also do like a full sync from Genesis, which is actually very hard to do like in the normal gossip world, since you have to find a node which has those historical blocks. And we already saw that the older the network is, the harder those blocks are to come by. But for now, we'll just install every binary. And so it will pull them down from the Cosmos chain registry. For me, that was that fast because I've already cached them. So it builds them in a Docker container and then outputs them to my local file system in the correct installation directory. Normally it takes about like 1 minute per binary, but still you're then way faster than if you would do it manually. And so the next step is that you can select the peers you want to include. So normally you have to check out Polkadot or like have to look into the docs of the project to find like the available peers. Here it already fetches and grabs them for you, so we can like select or deselect some random nodes here. We want to include all seeds in this case. Same with the persistent peers, same logic, so we can also just select and deselect some there. We'll also include also all. We'll hit enter to continue, and then we're done. So in this case, I start with Cosmovisor, which is a very handy tool to manage upgrades. For that, I just need to export the end variables, which got outputted here. This KSYNC can't unfortunately do. But once we have exported them, we can run Cosmovisor in the correct directory, like here. And then we can see that everything is configured. It has currently the V1 version set in, so the Genesis version, and we're ready to go. And now we can, for example, do like a full block sync from Genesis side into live side. So we can do that by, for example, doing the block sync command here. Have them already here in my cache. So I just specify the binary path to Cosmovisor, which we just saw here. Then I just specify, okay, the pool is on our testnet, that's why it's K on here. I'm going to reset everything before with the -r flag. And then I will just sync to block 200 because syncing to block 11 million would take a bit longer than now. And then we can hit enter. It wants to ask us if we want to actually do that. We say yes, of course. And then it will pull down the blocks which are currently stored on KYVE and will apply them to the blocks here. And then we can see after we have reached our target height of block 200, it exits successfully, and then we're done. And of course, this is something we can do until live height, and it will actually be quite fast, faster than if you would just join the network normally, since you don't have to search for peers or the connection doesn't get broken. It just, the only limit is basically your download limit here. Furthermore, we can do state syncs, so this is also quite nice. And very special thing about KSYNC is that you can apply state syncs at every height and not only at live height. So normally Tendermint limits you at state syncing to live height, but we got it that we can actually pull from every height. So I can make showcase here. Okay, state sync to height. Let's do a small height. 1,000, for example, because that's a bit faster here. And what it will do quite a similar thing. It will look into the KYVE data lake, basically, into KYVE in this case. It will download all the snapshot chunks. And as you can see, it starts applying them. And once that's done, we have basically complete state sync. So that means basically that we skipped all the way to block 12,000. We got the latest trusted state, and then we can just continue from there. And so it just completed here. And the awesome thing about this is that we can combine the block sync and state sync feature to do something we call a height sync. And this might be super awesome for example, analysts or researchers or like Cosmos developers who need to debug something. We can then say, all right, I want to check out the block height, for example, 12,200, because at that height I know this is some height right before an upgrade, or at that height something interesting happened, or I want to query, for example, the balance of that account of that height. And by executing that, it will do the same thing as before, but it will automatically sync to that height without you need to do anything. And this is quite awesome because normally to reach such a height you have to like find an archival node, which is very hard to come by, and usually you have to pay for that service, and it takes often a quite long time to spin it up and like to actually sync to that height. And here we can just take a shortcut, search for the nearest snapshot, which is right before that height, and then sync the remaining blocks. And I just chose a smaller height here, so it's a bit faster for the demo, but you can just enter every height here. It will all take care. And this is also true in case you're wondering how it handles upgrades. KSYNC is also able now to, depending on the block height, it will automatically detect the right binary for you. So in this case, all the KYVE binaries are stored here in the .kyve folder. Here. So currently, the setup command installed like every binary from 0.1 to the almost newest in this case. And let's say, for example, I want to sync to, you can check a folder here. I want to sync to height 5 million. That would be in the range of the 1.4 upgrade. So we can just try it out here and start that. So I would just enter 5 million, and then it will select the correct binary for me, and I have to do nothing. So this is also like a huge benefit here, where KSYNC works with, of course, that's always a demo thing. Probably something better in the background is running, but usually KSYNC works greatly with Customizer together to select the binary versions for you. And also one nice thing which we also offer is that we can also pull the blocks directly down from an RPC endpoint. So in this case, this command is called serve blocks, and I do the same thing as in the beginning now, that I want to do a normal block sync, but instead of downloading the blocks from KYVE, we can just download the blocks from an RPC endpoint. In this case, we are downloading the blocks from our own RPC endpoint, but you can also enter like a public one here. And of course, this works for every Cosmos node here. And the great thing about it, then you're not limited to all the KYVE pools. You can just enter, like, for example, also the endpoint of a Cosmos project, which is not supported by KYVE yet. And in this case, we can just reset again. And now it also syncs the blocks, but a bit slower than before, because now we're limited by the rate limiting speed of that endpoint. So this takes a bit longer, but still, then you're able to sync from there. And I think last but not least, a very nice little feature is also the info command, where you can just type info there and it prints you all the available chains which are already supported by KYVE, and yeah, which sync modes are available there. And I think with that, we have completed the current showcase and what KSYNC is capable of. And if you have any questions, you can just ask me now. But there are also some great docs you can visit here. So I will just paste them here again. Then you can follow the installations instruction there, and everything I did here is also documented there. So yeah, you can try it out here. And there are also some technical explanations on the repository itself, which are here. So if you want to dig deeper in how that works, you can definitely check that out. And then at this point, yeah, thanks. And if you have, like I said, any questions, now's the right time. Thanks for listening. So if there are no questions right now, I think we can wrap this up for now. But thank you so much for joining this week. Hope you learned something new, even if it was just like a very small thing, but happy to have you here. And yeah, we plan maybe to expand this Validator call to a more general call. Let's see about that, but yeah, maybe we will hit you up and it will be like a border call also regarding community and all that stuff. But yeah, for now we're quite happy that you as validators join regularly. And yeah, thanks for joining and have a nice rest of the week.